In the heart of a once vibrant neighborhood, a palpable sense of disconnect had taken root. Neighbors, who once exchanged friendly greetings and shared stories over backyard fences, now hurried past each other, their gazes fixed on the ground. A wise old woman named Mrs. Rodriguez, with a warm smile and eyes that held a lifetime of stories, decided to take action. She remembered the days when the aroma of shared meals wafted through the streets, drawing everyone together. She decided to organize a community potluck, hoping that the simple act of sharing food could rekindle the lost connection. She spent days preparing her famous empanadas, the savory aroma filling her small apartment and spilling out into the hallway. On the day of the potluck, Mrs. Rodriguez set up tables in the small park at the center of the neighborhood. One by one, hesitant neighbors began to arrive, carrying dishes that represented their own cultures and traditions. As people shared their food and stories, a sense of community began to blossom once more. Laughter filled the air, and the barriers that had once separated them started to crumble. The shared meal had reminded them that they were, after all, part of something bigger than themselves. In the heart of Grandview, nestled between skyscrapers and bustling streets, was the Grandview Community Center. It once thrived, a vibrant hub, but years of budget cuts and dwindling participation had left it a shell of its former self. Mrs. Petrov, the center's director, a woman with a heart as big as the city itself, struggled to keep its doors open. One day, a retired accountant named Mr. Abernathy, a man of meticulous habits and a profound loneliness since his wife's passing, wandered into the center seeking shelter from the rain. He noticed the sparsely populated room and the palpable sense of desolation. Inspired by a memory of his wife's open-door policy for anyone in need of a meal, he proposed a simple idea to Mrs. Petrov: a weekly community dinner. Mrs. Petrov, initially hesitant due to lack of funds and resources, was eventually swayed by Mr. Abernathy's earnestness and a small donation from his own savings. They announced the first Grandview gathering, a potluck dinner where everyone was welcome, regardless of background or income. The first gathering was a modest affair. A few residents, mostly the elderly and a handful of struggling families, trickled in. Mr. Abernathy brought his wife's famous apple pie, and Mrs. Petrov made a simple pasta dish. The atmosphere was quiet, almost hesitant. But as they shared the meal, stories began to emerge. Old friends reconnected, new acquaintances were made, and the hum of conversation slowly filled the room. Word of the Grandview gathering spread. A local baker, hearing about the initiative, started donating bread. A group of teenagers volunteered to set up and clean up. A local grocery store, moved by the stories of resilience shared at the dinners, began donating fresh produce. The gatherings grew, and the menu became more diverse, reflecting the rich tapestry of the community. Just as the Grandview gathering was gaining momentum, a threat emerged. A prominent local developer announced plans to purchase the community center property and build luxury condos. The news sent shockwaves through the community. The Grandview gathering, a symbol of hope and connection, was at risk. The residents rallied. They organized protests and wrote letters to the city council. They shared their stories of how the Grandview gathering had transformed their lives. Mr. Abernathy became their spokesperson. His voice resonated with passion and sincerity, becoming a symbol of their fight. The climax arrived at a city council meeting where the developer presented his case. Just as the council was about to vote in favor of the development, a young girl stood up. With tears in her eyes, she shared how the dinners provided her family with not just food, but also friendship and support. She presented a quilt, made by all the members of the Grandview gathering, each patch representing a story, a memory, a hope. The silence in the room was palpable. The council members, deeply moved by the girl's words and the community's unwavering spirit, voted against the development. The Grandview Community Center was saved. The Grandview gathering continued to thrive, becoming a permanent fixture of the community. Mr. Abernathy, no longer lonely, found fulfillment in his newfound purpose. Mrs. Petrov watched with pride as the center became a beacon of hope and connection, a testament to the power of shared meals and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The city of Grandview learned that sometimes, the most valuable developments are not built of brick and mortar, but of compassion and community.